Ready?
I'm rolling.
You're rolling. Senator, you have a plan to stop the crisis at the border at its root, helping Central America?
Yes. The president's plan and his call for to deport millions of Americans is inhumane. It rips families apart, rips them out of their communities. These people are working hard for America, and all they want to be is American citizens. They want some freedom. It is erratic. He has a different policy every day, and his own people say they can't support it. And it's politically a failure. He thinks he wins elections by bashing immigrants and saying, I'm going to deport people. He tried this at the last election before 2018 and lost. So we have a much better plan. What we propose is letting people, optional, from El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, apply for asylum in their own home countries. Now, why are they risking a 1,000-mile trek across Mexico, often with coyotes that they have to pay a lot of money, often not safe? Because their children are being threatened with rape and with murder. They're being threatened. They can't live a good life. They're not fleeing on a whim. If they could apply in those three countries in the so-called Northern Triangle, many of them would. If the others want to try to do it at our border, fine. The second thing we propose is large amounts of United States aid to these three countries to go after the gangs, to go after the drug dealers, to go after the people who are, the small number of people in those countries who are terrorizing the general population. The president cut that back. It was tried for a period of time until the last year of the Obama administration. It was beginning to work, and then he cut it back. Very, very bad. And so, and we also proposed some humanitarian aid for those countries as well. If we did that, that would more effectively deal with the problem at our border than anything the president has proposed.
Well, in that tweet, when he talks about deporting millions, he's also saying that the Democrats don't want to help pass through some kind of legislation that would close the asylum loopholes. So are you ever going to sit down and talk to each other again?
Well,
is it possible? Is any of this feasible if both sides are not talking?
Well, he originally was for the plan we proposed, and he said this is a good idea, and then a month later he wakes up and says he's withdrawing the aid. He's erratic. It's very hard to negotiate with someone who has no consistent position, who changes his mind minute to minute, and seems to want to do anything at the moment for political purposes. To say he's going to deport millions of families, I mean, I read that story the other day. A 4-month-old little boy was taken from his parents. He was away for 8-9 months. They finally reunited him back in his home country, was Romania, and he hasn't spoken. He's almost 2 years old. He won't walk anywhere without holding the hand of an adult. It breaks your heart what he's doing.
About the deportations, is it even possible? I mean, to deport millions, do we have the people? Do we have the space in the detention center? Is it a scare tactic, or is it a campaign
You hit the nail on the head. It's a campaign tactic. It's a scare tactic, a campaign tactic. Even McAleenan, who is one of the leaders in Homeland Security, even another leading official at CSIS said it's impossible to do this. He just does these things for political purposes, and he makes the crisis worse.
How does the future look like from here to the elections if nobody's talking?
Well,
is anything going to be able to
it's
get
not
done?
fair to say nobody's talking. We're happy to talk to him, but he changes his mind every week. When we talked about the Dreamers, he came up with a deal and backed off. We're willing to talk anytime, but he walks away, as you've seen what he did on infrastructure. He changes his mind day to day and week to week. When you're dealing with a man like President Trump, who seems sole goal is to attack immigrants for political purposes rather than solve the problem, it's hard to come up with a proper deal. So we need Republicans in the House and Senate who know better to work with us to solve the problem in a real way, and that's my hope.
And last question, are you hopeful that after next election you're going to have somebody at the White House you can talk to, or is he going to be reelected?
I think President Trump will lose. I think the 2018 elections just portends what's going to happen in 2020. He has his base, and they are vehement and for him, but they're not close to a majority, and the rest of America is turning against him.
All right.
Thank
you
you.
so much,
Nice
Senator.
to see you.
Nice
Great to be
seeing
here.
you.
Thank you.